If you want to become truly unrecognizable in the next 21 days, you don't need more motivation. You need a new identity, physically and emotionally. Your identity is how you think, how you act, and what you tolerate. And if you're honest, the person you've been thinking, acting, and tolerating isn't the person you want to become. If you keep operating at the same standard, nothing changes. Not tomorrow, not in 21 days, not in 6 months, not in a year. Your brain adapts to what you repeat. If you repeat distraction, you become distracted. If you repeat inconsistency, you become inconsistent. If you repeat doubt, you become doubtful. And if you keep rehearsing the same identity, you lock it in. So the next 21 days are not about chasing a result. They're about installing a new baseline that make achieving results the new norm. Because when you repeat a higher standard long enough, your brain treats it as normal. And once something starts to feel normal, it stops feeling hard. Most people try to change their life emotionally. They get inspired, they set big goals, and they promise themselves that this time will be different. But they don't change their identity. They don't change what they tolerate. They don't change their daily structure. And they definitely don't build a system. And plans fail without systems every single time. Discipline does not come from willpower. It comes from clarity. When you know exactly who you're becoming and exactly why, action becomes easier. But without clarity, you drift. And drifting is dangerous because if you don't consciously choose who you're becoming, your subconscious mind will choose for you and your current habits will stick for life. So here's the simple system that will change your life in 21 days. I said simple, not easy. Day one, the foundation. Day one is not a light start. You're not easing into this. You're sitting down for 20 minutes and getting brutally honest with yourself. No phone, no distractions, just you and a notebook. Here's what you're doing. First, you're identifying exactly who you have been in the past. I want you to write down these questions and answer them honestly. What standards have you tolerated? Where have you been inconsistent? What habits define you right now? Where are you lying to yourself? Guys, it is so important to be specific here, no surface level answers. Once you've done that, I need you to write down and answer this question. If I stay exactly the same for the next year, what happens? What happens physically, financially, emotionally? What happens in your relationships if you stay the same? Write it in detail. And if you guys want the full guide on this course, it's in the description. Pain is inevitable, but choosing growth before pain is a decision. If you don't change right now, change will eventually be forced upon you. And that's a much worse position to be in. Second part of day one is defining who you are becoming. And not a fantasy version of you, the real one. What do you want to achieve? More income, more strength, confidence, more peace? What is it? Pick one domain. Once you've chosen, then write down and answer this. What kind of person naturally achieves this? How do they think? How do they react to stress? What do they refuse to tolerate? What decisions do they make immediately? You are building the blueprint. Third, we need to define your why. Write down and answer the following questions. Why does this matter? Who benefits if you succeed? Who suffers if you don't? What does staying the same cost you? Without a strong why, discipline collapses, and clarity gives you your discipline. By the end of day one, you should have a clear target, a clear identity description, a written identity statement, a reason strong enough that quitting feels embarrassing, and that's the foundation. Starting on day two, we introduce the non-negotiables. Day one builds clarity. Day two and onwards, we build repetition, and repetition builds your identity. From day 2 to day 21, there are non-negotiables. Not suggestions, not try your best, but non-negotiables. Every single day, you will do the following in this order. First, write down what you want and why. Before anything else, you write your target clearly, specific, measurable, and real. If it's financial, I want to earn $15,000 per month. If it's physical, I want 12% body fat, I want to feel lean, and I want to be confident in my body. If it's emotional, then I want to feel more stable and in control of my life. Next, you answer these questions. Why does this matter? What changes if I achieve this? What pain disappears? What opportunities open up? Who benefits? Who suffers if I stay the same? You don't rush this because clarity creates your discipline. If your why is weak, your effort will be weak. But we need to prime the emotion first. After you write what you want and why, you will write one sentence about what happens if you do not change. One sentence, not a paragraph, not a story, just one clear consequence. If I don't change, I stay the kind of person who avoids hard things. If I don't change, I repeat another year of inconsistency. If I don't change, I stay broke, frustrated, and uncertain. It needs to be short, honest, and direct. Then immediately after that sentence, you will write one more sentence about what happens if you do change. If I do change, I become disciplined. If I do change, I build real self-respect. If I do change, I create financial freedom. If I do change, I become someone I'm proud of. Pain keeps you aware, vision pulls you forward. You need both, and not to scare yourself, but to keep yourself awake. The third part of your daily non-negotiables is this. Now that your goal is clear, you write out the identity that matches that goal. And in present tense, not I will, but I am. If your goal is $15,000 per month, you write, I am a decisive and disciplined person who earns $15,000 per month because I execute daily. I take immediate action after I make a decision. I move with confidence. I don't tolerate distraction. And you read it slowly. You don't try to force the belief. You allow repetition to do the work. Your brain adapts to what it repeats. If you repeat your old identity, it stays. If you repeat your new standard, it starts to become familiar. The fourth part of your daily non-negotiables is one physical action every day, and absolutely no excuses. It can be a gym session, walk, run, stretch, push-ups, anything. It does not need to be extreme, it just needs to be daily. Physical movement shifts your chemistry. It builds momentum and self-respect. You cannot install a new identity with a stagnant body. Now, the final non-negotiable is one domain action every day. This is the action tied to your chosen goal. If it's income, deep work, outreach, skill building. If it's confidence, hard conversations, social exposure, speaking up. If it's peace, boundaries, gratitude, environment control. Just one meaningful action. Not busy work, nothing extreme. Just action, because action is proof that you deserve this new outcome. So from day 2 to 21, you are repeating this every single morning or every single night. I would recommend doing this in the morning so it primes your day. But days 8 to 21 are going to be different. And here's what you need to understand. The first 5 to 7 days will feel new and exciting, motivating, clear, and controlled. Then something will happen. You'll start to find some resistance. You'll wake up one morning and not feel like writing, training, or doing your domain action. And that's not a sign that this isn't working. That's just your old identity fighting for survival. So this is actually a good thing. We just need to be aware of it. Remember, your brain adapts to what it repeats. And right now we're interrupting that old pattern. So around day 7, most people quit. But this is where you can be different. They miss one day, they negotiate, they slide. But you are not negotiating. Days 8 to 14 are about proof. This is where your habits stop feeling exciting and start to feel normal. You don't chase perfection, you execute. You don't obsess over the outcome, you obsess over the process. Because results come from repeated action and nothing else. Then days 15 to 21, this is where identity locks in. You stop asking, do I feel like it? And you just start doing because that's who you are. And you start noticing something subtle. You feel more stable, decisive, and proud at night when you go to bed. And not because your life just magically changed, but you kept promises to yourself. Self-trust starts building, and self-trust changes everything. By day 21, you are not done, but you are different. You think differently, you act faster, you tolerate less, you move with more ownership, and ownership is power. Life doesn't happen to you, it happens because of you. Let me make something clear. This is simple, but it is not easy. You don't need a new personality, you don't need the perfect plan, and you definitely don't need to wait for the right moment, because the right moment does not exist. You need repetition and ownership. You need to stop negotiating with the version of you that keeps you small. For 21 days, you are choosing growth before pain forces it upon you. Because pain and pleasure are inevitable, but who you become is not. You can either drift into a weaker version of yourself or deliberately build a stronger one. And that choice is made daily, not emotionally, but through action. And here's where faith comes in. Faith is not pretending that results are guaranteed. Faith is choosing to act like the person you want to become before your physical reality shows it. Faith is writing the identity before the income, training before the transformation, moving before you feel ready. You don't wait to feel disciplined, you act disciplined. You don't wait to feel confidently, you move with confidence. You don't wait for proof, you create it. For 21 days, you are going to repeat a higher standard, and your brain will adapt. Your emotions will stabilize, your identity will shift, and not because you hoped, but because you executed. Download the outline in the description and start today. Not next Monday, not when things calm down, or not when you feel ready, but now. Because the version of you that waits is the person we are replacing.